what I'm on about. That's what I'm on about.
How we doing, guys? Welcome to DT's Daily. Now, on today's show, we're going to take a look back at last night's Premier League games. 5 matches. And yes, there were some talking points. Last piece of news involves Arsenal because they have confirmed they plan to appeal David Luiz'S red card against Wolves.
I represent my fucking self.
How we doing, guys? Welcome to DT's Daily. That's right.
To the first place, we're going to start last night's Premier League games. 5 matches. And there was a few surprises in there. And a few talking points as per usual. First game we're going to go with was Fulham against Leicester. And it was a 2-0 win for Leicester. Not great for Fulham in their battle for survival. But for Leicester, that's a very, very big 3 points for them. James Justin got himself on the score sheet in this game as well. Maddison with a couple of assists. And yeah, they're going to be happy to get back to winning ways and get those 3 points on the board. Leeds United against Everton. I suppose you could say this may be a bit of a shock given their previous results. You know, Leeds United winning their last game. And of course Everton losing their last game, but it's completely swinged around. Everton raced into a 2-0 lead. Sigurdsson, there's a brilliant goal as well. The cross from the left hand side was superb. Calvert-Lewin scores just before half time, and then Leeds straight after half time get themselves back in the game, but they cannot find the equaliser, and that's a big 3 points for Everton. And Leeds United, they stay where they were. They had an opportunity of going above Arsenal, but they were not able to capitalise. Burnley against Manchester City, and this was a 2-0 win for Manchester City. And they just look absolutely unstoppable right now. They just don't concede goals. They're just a machine. And I think that's 8 wins in a row now in the Premier League. They've still got a game in hand on everybody around them. And it's looking quite ominous as to where the title may well end up at the end of the season. But of course, there was a talking point in this game. Jesus scored the opening goal. Raheem Sterling. But in the second half, there was an incident involving Jesus. I say incident. He was fouled. Clearly fouled. Stonewall penalty. No VAR was introduced or taken a look or anything along them lines. Now, do you remember Peter Walton? I spoke about him in yesterday's, show and everything. And it was, the guy that sits on the BT panel and he's an ex-referee and he's speaking about the David Luiz situation and that it was, the correct decision and all this waffle. And I've been speaking about this over and over and over again about these referees. There's no point asking ex-referees and people that are mates with, these referees and in that circle, because they're going to stick up for them all the time. When spoken to about this incident involving Jesus, now I'll tell you exactly what he said, and I quote, "Incidental contact does not warrant a penalty. Incidental contact does not warrant a penalty." Now, the night before, he says that it does warrant a penalty and a red card. It's an interesting one, that. You do the math. Sorry. And I hate to keep going on about it, but this is the issue. The inconsistency, the problems and everything else. The referees in this country are shit. End of story. They're shit. How on earth are they actual professionals? You've got referees in other countries that are not professional. It's like a second job to them. And they are better. They are more capable of refereeing a football match. And I've said this so many times. This is the reason why England do not have any referees at international tournaments, World Cups, Euros, etc. Because they're shit. What more can I say? Absolutely unbelievable that this guy can say the complete opposite within the space of 24 hours. This is the same guy that was speaking about VAR before, and he said VAR is not there to find the correct decision. What? Get in the bin. Seriously. Going on to the next games. I suppose this one is a bit of a surprise, and I don't know really, because West Ham are having such a great season. It was Aston Villa against West Ham. I suppose you've got to say that Aston Villa maybe with a home advantage, but West Ham run out 3-1 winners, and Jesse Lingard scores a couple of goals. He now has more goals this season than Kai Havertz. Sorry. Both of the goals, I think that Emi Martinez will not be happy with his contribution. Yeah, I suppose he's getting the howlers out of the way before he plays Arsenal this weekend. And he turns into an absolute world beater and saves everything. But West Ham, they went 2-0 ahead. Fully deserved. Villa were poor. Ollie Watkins scored with under 10 minutes to go, and you thought, right, this could be a nervy finish. And then Lingard, within 2 minutes, restores the 2-goal lead. And West Ham, they win the game 3-1. They're having a brilliant, brilliant season. Last game, now this was a surprise. Liverpool 0, Brighton 1. I thought Liverpool had turned the corner. I thought that they had got their old self back together again. But Brighton were absolutely superb. And one player in particular that stands out, Basuma. Oh, I would love him at Arsenal. Him and Thomas Partey. Are you mad? What a partnership that would be. But Brighton, they get the goal just before the hour mark. Alzate. And yeah, they hold out. And it's a brilliant result for them. And Liverpool, yeah, they're just up and down. It's like a yo-yo, isn't it? In terms of the Premier League table, what does that do? Well, it's not great reading for Liverpool, given the fact that they lost that game. They're 7 points behind Manchester City now. And Manchester City have a game in hand. Yeah, it's going to be a tall order for Liverpool to try and retain their title. Leicester in third place, 42 points. They have played a game more. Manchester United in second, 3 points behind Manchester City, and also played a game more. West Ham into fifth place, 38 points, and they've also played 22 games. Everton, 36 points, but they've only played 20 games, so they have a couple of games in hand, and they could be right in the mix if they go and, you know, pick up the points in those games in hand. Tottenham in 7th, 33 points, and they've also only played 20 games. But you've got to remember, tonight they play Chelsea, who sit in 8th place, and they played 21 games. Villa in 9th, Arsenal in 10th. And this is what annoys me more than anything, because that game against Wolves, if we would have won that game like we were on course to do before the referee's intervention, then we would have been sitting 7th place in the Premier League, right in the mix. 6 points off a Champions League place, we would have been. But it is what it is, and we're going to have to move on from it now. I think I've spoke about it enough. Last piece of news involves Arsenal. And guess what? I'm going to speak about it again. And that's because Arsenal are planning to appeal David Luiz'S red card against Wolves. We all know the incident now. We all know what happened, but it has been confirmed that Arsenal will appeal, and rightly so. Do I think that they're going to win the appeal? No, because what it will mean is that the FA, I have to hold their hands up and say that the referees made an error. They're just not going to do it. I'm sorry, they're not. You're looking at the sending off for Southampton, the one right near the end of the game. It's not a sending off either. You know, Martial's already diving before the guy's even there, and he stopped. And apparently Martial himself had said it's not a penalty. And it's like, that one, Mike Dean actually went to the monitor. He took his time over it, and he still came to the conclusion that it was a foul, a penalty, and a red card. Explain. And this is again about inconsistency. Why did this referee not go to the monitor? He was obviously being told in his ear by John Moss in the VAR control room that he got his decision fine, you don't need to check it. So he didn't. But that's the issue. It should surely be down to the referee to make the final call, especially when penalties, red cards, those sort of, things have happened. The referee should get the final call. He should be told in his ear, you know what, I think you got the right call, but you're going to need to go and check for yourself just to make sure, because then the final decision is down to the referee. There's no grey area. We don't know whether the referee would have gone to the monitor in the Arsenal game, looked at it and gone, you know what? Nah, I'm not going to give that, or I'm not going to send him off. It was accidental, or we don't know, because he never had that opportunity and went over there. In the Manchester United Southampton game, we know definitively Mike Dean has decided that was the correct decision. He has seen replay after replay after replay and still decided he got it right the first time. Now, Mike Dean does come across as the kind of guy that doesn't like to admit he's wrong. So he just stick with the decision. It's all about me, Mike Dean, all about me, my show and everything else. And that's just for a different matter, because I'll get absolutely wound up. But, the referee in the Arsenal game, this was the same referee that was, officiating the Arsenal-Chelsea game at the start of Mikel Arteta's reign. And he didn't send off the Chelsea player, I can't even think of his name now, for the pullback on Guendouzi. And then 5 minutes later, he scores the equaliser. And it's like, yeah, this same guy. This guy. Yeah. Absolutely ludicrous. Honest to God. But like I said, I'm not going to go into it anymore, because I've said all I can say, and it's not going to change anything. And we're going to find out whether Arsenal are successful with this appeal. If they are, then I think that the officials involved should be held accountable. And they should face punishment. Just in the same way that managers, players, are accountable for the decisions they make and the things that they do. Same with referees. If you overturn their decision and it's later found that, they got it wrong, punish them, ban them, 1 game, 3 games, whatever it might be. Simple, really. Then they might actually start taking more care and consideration before they make decisions, if they know that there's actually punishment at the end of it. Just maybe. I could talk all night about, referees and everything else, but I'm not going to even get into it. So there we go. That is it for today's DT's Daily. As usual, let me know in the comment section what you think about today's topics. If you're new around here, hit the subscribe button, smash a like on this video, and I will see you lot soon. I'm out of here.